Hello everyone. Welcome to today's session on business management. Today we are going to discuss 14 principles of management. At the end of the session, you will be able to understand the importance of 14 principles of management in your managerial and business practice. Before we discuss 14 principles of management, let us see regarding Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol was born in Istanbul in the year 1841. At the age of 19, he began working as a junior engineer at a large coal mining company in France, and he eventually became the director. When he joined as a junior engineer, the company was under a tremendous debt, but by his efficiency and skill level, he was able to transform the company financially. He is referred as the father of modern management theory, as his contribution to the modern concepts of management is very much significant and important. In 1916, he published his 14 Principles of Management in the book Administration Industriale et General, which was later published in English in 1949 under a General and Industrial Management. In fact, this publication in English made him very much popular, and many philosophers of management came to know regarding this. While another significant contribution is the discovery of functions of management, which are planning, organizing, leading, coordinating, and controlling. Let us now look at the importance of 14 principles of management. Foyle's 14 principles was one of the earliest theories of management to be created. This theory acts as guidelines for managers to perform their activities. It enables managers to decide what should be done to accomplish given tasks. It also acts as a reference to the managers to check whether their decisions are appropriate. Let us now see the various 14 principles of management: division of work, authority and responsibility, discipline, unity of command, unity of direction, subordination of individual interest to general interest, remuneration of personnel, centralization, scalar chain, order, equity, stability of tenure, initiative, esprit de corps. Let us see one by one in detail. Division of work. Division of work refers to dividing the total work of the organization among individuals and creating departments. It leads to specialization, which helps to increase efficiency and improvement in the productivity and profitability of the organization. Division of work is a win-win situation for both the employees and the management. It is beneficial to the employee, as when he performs the same work continuously, he becomes specialist in it, and it helps in his career growth. And it is beneficial to the organization, as the concerned work can be completed in a short span of time, and wastages can be reduced, and all other resources can be effectively utilized. Authority and responsibility. Before we see Foyle view on authority and responsibility, let us understand the meaning of authority and responsibility. Authority is the right to give orders, whereas responsibility is the obligation. Authority can be delegated, but responsibility cannot be delegated. Authority comes by virtue of official position. According to Foyle, there has to be a balance between authority and responsibility. You cannot have a situation where only authority is given and responsibility is not given, and vice versa. When only authority is given without responsibility, the work will not be done, because when he is not responsible for that particular work, he will be very lenient towards it. Likewise, when responsibility is given without authority, he will not be able to perform the work, because he will be in need of some kind of authority to complete that work. Authority facilitates to work efficiently, and responsibility makes them responsible for the work done. Hope you understood regarding this. Let us now see regarding discipline. Discipline is the crux both in personal life and professional life. Foyle holds the view that it has to be on the part of the employees and also on the part of the management. You cannot have discipline only with regard to the employees. Discipline has to be ensured in all the levels of the organization and in every department. You cannot have one department having discipline, another department not adhering to discipline, or one person adhering to discipline, or another person is not following the discipline, or like manager is not in discipline and he is expecting his subordinates to be in discipline. That cannot happen. He has to lead by the example. Oil believes that if the leader is inefficient, he cannot enforce discipline. Imagine a situation: a manager is coming late to the organization and he does not do his work efficiently or in a smooth manner. Then obviously the subordinates under him will also do the same thing. They will have the assumption that why should we do the work when our superior is not doing the work? So discipline has to be ensured. Unity of command. Unity of command is one of the important principles. Foyle holds the view that there has to be only one superior for a subordinate. He should get orders from only one superior. He should not get orders from more than one superior. If more than one superior is giving order to the subordinate will not be able to do the work properly. He will be in a state of confusion to whom he should listen, which work should be done first. It will ultimately lead to a kind of thing which where he will be in a very spot where he cannot complete the work. So it has to be ensured that the subordinates receives orders from only one boss. Unity of direction. This principle says that each group of activities having the same objective should have one head and one plan. When a group of people are focusing on the same objective, they should be behind one leader and they should be focused on one plan. You cannot have two plans or three plans to achieve the same objective. Imagine a situation that you are in a production department of the concern. The production department has finalized that they are going to produce 1 lakh units of goods. So all the employees of the production department should be focused on achieving the 1 lakh target with one plan. You cannot have 50 people working with one plan and another 50 people working with another plan. That will not work out. Subordination of individual interest to general interest. Foyle holds the view that personal interests should be compensated and should not be given priority over the company's interest or the group interest. Your interest and your preference should be given least priority. Of course, you can voice your views, you can have your opinion, you can have your liking, but it should not be compromised on the company's policy or on the base of group policy. It should always be we rather than I. Even in case of there will be some situation where it will clash with your personal interests. There also you should try to your maximum limit that you give priority to the general interest. Like for example, if you have a very important meeting coming up on a particular day, but you have a personal commitment on that day, you have to make sure that unless that personal commitment is very much emergency or very much essential, you should not miss out that meeting. You should make sure that you attend that meeting. Remuneration. See, we work in an organization based on various reasons. We work for our creative hunger, we work for job satisfaction, we work on the basis of interest, but the main motive and the main reason behind that is remuneration. Remuneration should be paid fairly. Foyle holds the view that it has to be fair both on the perspective of employees and also on the perspective of employer. It should not be a one-sided affair. Both should be satisfied with regard to the remuneration. He says that it has to be fixed based on the qualification, skill level, knowledge of the employees. And care should be taken that there is no compromise on the remuneration aspect. Centralization. See, centralization and decentralization. Let us understand the difference and meaning. Centralization refers to the concentration of authority at a particular place or at a particular level, whereas decentralization is dispersal of authority. With regard to the centralization and decentralization, Foyle holds the view that he's not advocating a particular thing. He leaves it to the manager to decide. He leaves it to the concerned people to decide whether to follow centralization concept or decentralization concept. He feels that it has to be decided based on the volume of business, based on the nature of the company, based on the superior's capability, based on the ability and talent of subordinates. And he feels that managers should retain the final responsibility and should give subordinates enough authority to do the task successfully. Scalar chain. Scalar chain refers to the formal line of authority from superior to subordinates. This chain should not be violated in normal course of formal communication. That is, if D wants to speak with G, who is on another side, who belongs from another department, he has to get permission from C, he has to get permission from B, he has to get permission from A, and then from E and then F, then only he can communicate with G. This is how happens in normal course of activity. But when there is an emergency situation, but when there is a need, urgent need, the organizational structure should give scope where D and G can directly contact without the approval or without getting permission from the superiors. This is what is referred as gang plan. That is the communication between D and G directly. Order. Order is of two kinds. One is social order and other one is material order. Social order ensures the selection of the right man for the right job. This is one of the important principles. When you don't have a right person for a particular job, you will not be able to do anything. Like for example, for a process of accounting, if you're employing an engineer or a graduate from the science background, then it won't be of any use. So you have to make sure that there's a right man for the right job. When you make sure that this is done, you have done like a big part of the thing. When it comes to material order, it has to be a everything in its place and it plays for everything. Material order refers to like everything should be put in order. Every material should be there. There should not be any shortage with regard to the material or with regard to the infrastructure. When there is shortage in terms of material, the employees will not be able to do their work. Only when there is perfection in material, the employee will get the thing will get the zeal to work. Next, we have equity. The principle says that everyone should be treated equally. There should not be any bias with regard to the religion, gender, caste, or culture, or based on nationality. They have to be treated equally in terms of roles and responsibilities also. It generally happens in organization when a manager or a higher authority, when he has a discomfort with certain employee, when he does not get along with certain employee, he tortures them by giving more work. Likewise, when he is comfortable with some employee, he doesn't give him so much work. This should not be followed. Even in case of remuneration, there has to be equity. Stability of tenure of personnel. This is very, very important. When there is a stability and job security, the employee will be able to perform his obligation or his work efficiently. When he's not sure of the work, he will not be able to give us 100%. So the management should ensure that they install this belief that their job is secure as long as they don't do abnormal things. He also advocates that employees should be given a fair enough time to settle into their jobs. They should be given proper training. They should be given ample time to get accustomed to their job. It creates team spirit and a sense of belongingness among workers, which ultimately increase the quality as well as the quantity of work. Initiative. According to Foyle, the freedom to think and act is initiative. When the manager makes the employees to think and act on their own, they will get inspired and they will give their best. When initiative is curbed, they will become like robots, like where or machine or a kind of machine. But we cannot have human acting as a machine, right? Everyone has their creative thing. Everyone has their mind. They want to apply it. Only then work will be good. Only then new things can be brought out. Only then innovation is possible. So it has to be ensured that initiatives are encouraged. And also, we should not see from whom ideas are coming. Even if an idea is coming from a worker, that has to be listened, that has to be taken into account, and it has to be carefully analyzed. And if it is good, we have to incorporate that. And if it is not good, we have to explain it why it is not good, why we cannot have that particular idea. So, initiative should be encouraged. Also, Foyle exhorts manager to sacrifice personal vanity in order to permit subordinates to exercise. We have moved on to the last principle of management, esprit de corps. See, this refers to union strength or team spirit. It is very much clear that an organization cannot be successful because of only one individual or only because of a specific group of people. An organization can be successful or can reach to a greater height only when everyone is involved. So, and management and the employers and all the employees have to make sure that they are united. Whatever the difference is, they have to communicate and they have to make sure that it is sorted out and everyone goes hand in hand. He feels that all successful organizations survive only when a feeling of unity pervades the group and that viable organization collect with crisis as a team. With this, I end. If you have any doubt, you can let me know. Thank you.